A nice woman.
She is. So now, hi there, my video, because clearly it's my video. I'm off camera and just talking. I'm here with Linkara, and Linkara, I apologize if at some point in the video I just lose control and I just tackle you and start trying to eat you to have your awesomeness inside of me.
It's happened before. I've learned the perfect pressure point to take out a person when they try that.
Yeah, well, good. Actually, one thing I was really surprised, I ran into Linkara at the Mall of America last week because he was here for Anna Minneapolis, and I mentioned this on my show because, oh my god, I ran into Linkara. And what really struck me, you're a lot bigger in person because you have this
I'm very fat, yes.
Tall, really, also broad. No, it's like on camera you have this kind of just unassuming geek guy air, and so it doesn't really come across. But like I meet you in person, I'm like, wow, if you got it into your head, you could do that "I'm big and you will back off" sort of thing. It's impressive.
I'm huge.
Yes, you should be like cosplaying as Mr. Huge Man or something. Because that's a real character that I totally did not just make up right this second.
Brad Jones is actually remarkably short.
That makes me laugh because for the exact same thing, he has such a presence. And
the camera, it's also the camera angle. He deliberately does it so it's like pointing up at him, so you're always looking up to him.
Right. Well, and he has that really deep voice from apparently years of Crystal Pepsi.
Of course. Oh my yes.
So speaking of videos, which is what everyone knows you about, how do you you probably get this all the time? How do you decide which comics you're going to do?
I just pick him at random.
That's the greatest thing ever.
No. I go through my box. I see which ones would. Oh, poor kid lost his balloon.
Aww.
Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, I go through them because I have like stacks and stacks of comics that people have donated to me or that I bought at conventions and whatnot. And yeah, I look through them. I flip through some comics that I think might make for a good episode. I schedule it. Then when the episode actually comes around, I realize, oh crap, this is actually not all going to be all that funny. So I scramble to figure out something else to review.
It's better than my show. What I do for my show, I do a weekly, technically current events, but sometimes current events means I saw this really awesome show last week. But where
it's still current.
Yeah, right, it's current. Where the entire premise of it is, let's see if a drunk guy yelling on a microphone in his basement makes more sense than people on mainstream television. Usually about politics, which is not that difficult, which is why I have to branch out. But anyways, no, how I figure my show is, all right, I've had about 5 shots of rum. What sounds fun? So I was speaking earlier about the Missino story arc, which was just my absolute favorite story arc ever. And I still quote the final speech that you gave Missino to people just because it's fucking fantastic. Yes, you will become everything, and what then? How did you come up with that?
Everything will be you, and everything will be meaningless.
Yeah, right. How did you come up with that?
I ramble a lot. I'm basically a windbag. The thing, you know what it was? I was so afraid that I wasn't getting my point across. I talked about this in the commentary for the episode, just trying to get across that missing number, realized the existential horror of his own existence. I was so afraid that people weren't going to get it. I just kept writing and trying to elucidate upon that. And so I just kept writing and writing. So I'm not sure exactly the specific details of it, of like each individual line, how I came up with it. But basically that was it. Just me trying to make it as clear as possible.
Well, it really worked in that because not just of the exact words, but how it was delivered. Like you really had this exasperated, you have clearly not thought this through. Because otherwise, why would we have gotten here? It was just, how did you come up with the story arc at all?
Missing number terrifies me.
Yeah, well, it is a little scary.
It is, and especially terrifying as a little kid playing the game, knowing about the missing number trick, and then getting the wrong thing when you're supposed to do it. I know how it works. It has to do with the letters in your name and the hexadecimal placements of objects because it's a technical thing. Basically, there were 255 empty slots of information, and they reserved it for Pokemon.
Right.
But there are only 151 of them, technically only 150 in the first game. And so they filled up a lot of the other ones with items and trainer information, but there were still about 50 to 100 other empty slots they didn't end up using. So sometimes the game gets confused about what data it's trying to call forth. So it ends up calling forth data that isn't there.
Right.
And so it just grabs whatever the hell it can from everything else to try to make it all make sense. One of
Right.
which is letters of your name and
Right.
identifying marks of that. But yeah, that's basically how that happened. But missing number terrifies me, so I decided, okay, how do I share that fear with everyone else?
So, well, I was terrified. I'm still worried about, scrambled eyes looking at me. It's like, you have sunglasses on, what are behind those? So, okay.
Those stupid eyes. That's the reason why the thing was taking so long to edit. Because I have Adobe After Effects, so I use a masking tool around the staticky bits as another layer and all that fun stuff. The problem was, because I have a tendency to move around everywhere, I needed to constantly go frame by frame and move the eyes with it.
Oh, man. No, yeah, that would have taken a while. So what was your favorite video ever made? I'm sure you've said this somewhere, but now I'm asking.
Well,
like that you ever made, your favorite one.
See, I have favorite episodes that seem to change from day to day. Now, favorite things to make. I had so much fun making the Star Trek #2 review with the Mirror Universe and coming up with stuff with that.
Right.
I drew inspiration from Mystery Science Theater 3000's Mirror Universe episode. Tried to give it my own spin in a couple of places, like the Agonizer is it's actually really pleasant. Mr. Poyo, you failed to properly compensate for the ion storm. And it's so much fun playing an evil version of yourself, especially one that's supposed to be over the top.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, that's half the reason I do the show the way I do it. Speaking of Star Trek, I still, like when I'm playing Star Trek Online, one of my favorite things to do is on my secondary laptop, I'll bring up the Star Trek Insurrection review you did with the Nostalgia Critic.
I hate that movie.
It's a really shitty movie.
And for most people, it's just an okay movie, or it's just a bad movie that you just kind of forget. To me, it was morally offensive.
Yeah. I mean, first off, they steal a plot from the actual episodes, and then reverse it? What the fuck?
Well, it's because these are white people.
See, you're completely right, and I was trying to avoid that reference, but no, you're right.
It's part of the metatextual reason, really uncomfortableness about the movie, because the original episode they ripped off the idea. Well, there are technically 2 episodes they ripped off this idea from, but
yeah, one they had them in the holodeck, and the other one.
Well, they technically ripped off 3 episodes. The holodeck one is where they got the idea of moving them, and Picard did not seem all that upset about using it then. But also there was the planet where the Shellyak claimed ownership of the planet. These people had conquered this radiation that was no longer harmful to them, and we're like, we're sorry, but these people are going to destroy your home and kill you all unless you leave.
Right.
And Data convinced them eventually that it was the right thing to do to move, because in the end, these are just things. Things can be replaced. Lives cannot.
Right.
And otherwise, the more and more you think about it, the more the Baku really come across as selfish, horrible people.
Well, yeah. I mean, okay, how about you live on a colony, in the village next door or something, if they really didn't want... Like, yeah, what the fuck? No, that's... Yeah.
Well, the Sona being part of the Baku. Here's the thing. This is actually one of the cases where the studio was actually smarter than the movie creators, because they sent a memo to the Paramount offices saying, we are having a difficult time trying to understand why the lives of 600 people are so important, especially considering that entire species have been wiped out from in Star Trek before, and in fact, these people would probably inbreed themselves into extinction anyway within a few generations.
Right.
So please, we need more clarification about why the hell these people are so damn important. And they never really come up with an answer.
No. Well, Picard fell in love with that one chick.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
We never see again, and I keep forgetting her name, Anji or something, and she just the most sleepy performance through the whole thing.
I think everyone was phoning their performance in on that shit. What the hell?
Marina Sirtis said that when she saw it in theaters, she fell asleep.
But to be fair, it's Marina Sirtis.
Oh, I like Marina Sirtis.
No, I'm
the
sure
problem
she-
is the character of Troy, not the
Yeah,
actress
no,
behind it.
yes.
She did the best with what she had to
Yes.
work
Actually,
with.
my problem
And
was
she actually
Troy.
got better. And she got better. Actually, and Troy actually got a lot better after Next Generation was over with.
Right. No, I've actually thought that Marina Sirtis was a fine actress. My problem was always with the character of Troy, because a counselor has no reason to be on the fucking bridge. Meanwhile, if you have an empath, you put that shit on the bridge. And so, like, they never really figured out what she was there to do other than to tell Picard what the guy in the big rubber mask was thinking.
An alien snarling at them may in fact be angry.
Maybe. You know, we didn't get to see it, and I am curious, since I know you're such a gigantic Star Trek geek. By the way, kudos on using the DS9, motion picture uniform in that. That was just a fantastic attention to detail, and I love you for it.
Thank you.
I
love that uniform.
It's a fantastic unit. Plus, DS9 is my favorite Star Trek ever.
Good man.
I know. What are your opinions on Nemesis? Because we didn't get to hear that.
Nemesis, I liked it when it first came out. Over time, and more analysis and more thinking about it, it really doesn't make a damn bit of sense.
It does not.
I guess the reason why I seem to like it originally was atmosphere.
Right.
But otherwise, it has nothing going for it. It's basically a retread of Star Trek 2, but without the same emotional depth to it, and really the strong writing and really quotableness of it. And the character motivations don't make nearly as much sense.
But at least Stewart and his clone were good actors.
They're good actors. It's just this was not a strong script, and it needed a few more rewrites, I think.
My favorite fan theory ever.
Also, why is Picard's clone bald when he was not bald?
Because he's Remit.
When he was not bald in Starfleet Academy.
No.
Oh, that's because the audience wouldn't be able to connect with it. They wouldn't be able to recognize, hey, this guy's a clone.
I know, right? My favorite fan theory ever about the Star Trek Next Gen movies is that Picard never made it out of the Nexus.
Yes.
Suddenly it makes perfect fucking sense.
You want to go back really far. The Nitpicker's Guide to Next Generation Trekkers has this wonderful thing. Remember the episode Brothers? Or the one with Data and Lore?
Yes.
And Dr. Soong? When Data takes control of the Enterprise and inputs a code into the computer, the code that he says out loud is different than the code that's on screen. So the theory there is that everything has been an hallucination inside Data's mind after the guilt of what happened.
But of course, oh my god, I'm going to be thinking about this for the next year. Fuck you, Linkara. Fuck you.
I tried.
Okay, back up to the thing that you're actually famous for reviewing, comic books. What is your favorite, favorite series is just such a broad topic.
Favorite comic is JLA/Titans: The Technis Imperative.
Oh, well, that was easy.
It is the thing that I compare every event comic to. It's big. It has a cast of hundreds. The stakes are great. It's very quotable, very enjoyable story. It's got great themes, and nobody dies. And in fact, someone comes back to life in it. So that's the benchmark that I hold every other event comic to the standards of.
Okay, well that question asked and answered. Favorite writer?
It always seems to change from day to day. Sometimes it's Gail Simone. Sometimes it's Jeff Johns. Not as much anymore. Jeff Johns used to be my favorite. Now I've started to pick up some more of his quirks.
All right. And favorite artist?
Also a thing that seemed to change from day to day. Alex Ross, Nicholas Scott. What's his name? He did JSA for a while. I can't remember him. He was Dale Eaglesham.
Okay. And what projects do you have coming up? I mean, other than, your standard episodes.
I'm still going to do a quick look at, especially since summer slump has hit. So more brief 5-minute movie reviews are going to be coming up. And this October, Long Box of the Damned, where we're going to take a Cinemassacre's Monster Madness style look at horror comics, and with my own horror host character.
Fun. I'm already looking forward to that.
So am I.
Since we were just on movies, actually, because I'm all over the fucking place, Avengers movie.
Loved it. Did a 40-minute vlog with my brother about how much I love it.
I know, I saw that, and I just, yes, please tell me more about how much you love the Avengers. It was such a fantastic fucking movie. And I think my favorite part is...
I was disappointed with finding out that it was not a remake of the Avengers TV show.
Yeah, I think once I saw the big giant hammer, I was not worried about being a remake of the Avengers TV show.
I like the Avengers TV show. I know that makes me weird, but
Nonsense. It's still a cultural thing in Britain.
Well, see, there you go. I've never been to Britain.
As a result, they actually had to rename the movie in the UK Marvel's Avengers to not confuse people.
yeah.
I'm serious.
I believe that. That's fantastic.
Well,
All right.
It was one that I really liked. And speaking of British, do you mind if I tell a joke?
Go ahead.
Back in the 50s, the Reader's Digest had a joke. An American serviceman was on his way to his next base and he had to catch a British train to get where he was going.
Mm-hmm.
He got on the train, the first compartment he came to, there were 3 seats. There's 4 seats, 3 people sitting in it. There's a British gentleman, 3-piece suit and his reading glasses, reading his newspaper sitting there. Matronly lady, apparently his wife, beside him. On the other side, there's this high-toned lady with her French poodle sitting on the seat beside her. And he asked her, excuse me, ma'am, do you mind having the dog sit on the floor? I am very tired, I need to sit. And, could I please sit there? And she said, no, he stays in the seat. She stays in the seat. You just have to find another place. So, okay, so he's tired, but he goes through the whole train, compartment by compartment. And every seat that's on that train has a human butt in it except one. It has pee. So he comes back and says, ma'am, I've been through the whole train and not another seat on the train. I need to sit there, put pee on the floor. And she said, no, I told you, my pee stays with you in the seat. He throws down his duffel bag and walks over and opens the window, grabs the dog and throws it out the window. The British gentleman lowers his newspaper, throws over his reading glasses and says, you Americans can't do anything right. You eat with the wrong fork. You drive on the wrong side of the street. Now you've gone and thrown the wrong bitch out of the window.
Oh, that's wrong.
So, Linkara, please.
So anyway, I'm
plug
doing an interview
something.
right now.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right.
No, it's fine.
So anyway, where were we?
You were about to plug something. Anything.
I was doing Long Box of the Damned, and of course the 4th anniversary movie for that guy with the glasses.
Do we? Is it turned on? Oh, yeah, no, I'm totally turned on. You can hear everything.
Yep.
I probably won't. Editing is work. I'm just going to put it up on YouTube. I hope you were speaking loud enough, otherwise everybody's going to be like, what was that? Can't hear it. What? Can you give us any hints about what the 4th anniversary movie is?
Space.
Fantastic. Please tell me the DS9 uniform comes back. I'm going to take that as a yes. At least me and my erection
I'm not saying
will.
yes or no. I'm just whistling. I don't know what you're talking about.
Look, all I have to say is my erection says yes. No, thank you for your time, Linkara. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for letting me fanboy squee all over you, and not, slapping me when I say I want to lick your chest or your nose. You have a fantastic nose, sir.
Oh.
It is just
Shucks.
a beautiful nose. And that's everything. Bye.